Today's theme: the crisis of consciousness and the cost of a hollow society. We stand at a precipice. Look around you. Do you feel it? The world feels heavier, doesn't it? Faster, louder, yet somehow emptier. We are told we are more connected than ever, yet we have never been more divided. We have access to all the knowledge in human history in our pockets, yet we are drowning in confusion. This is not merely a political crisis. It is not just an economic downturn. What we are witnessing is a structural necessity for the survival of our collective soul. We are witnessing the Great Dissension. You have asked for a strategic assessment of this condition. You didn't ask for comforting platitudes, you asked for the truth. And to navigate this awakening, we must first look unflinchingly at the shadow. I am here today not just as an observer, but as a spiritual strategist. My work is to examine the anatomy of a society that has severed the connection between the head and the heart, choosing instead the hand, the grasping, desperate hand of materialism. I have synthesized historical patterns, sociological data, and spiritual observation to present to you a report on the systemic collapse caused by the absence of conscious thought. Today we begin with the diagnosis. A healthy society relies on three specific kinds of intelligence working in concert. When these go missing, we do not simply stagnate. We actively devolve. First, we have lost critical thinking, our epistemic intelligence. This is the ability to seek truth, to test claims, evaluate evidence, and detect manipulation. Without it, we are defenseless against lies. Second, we have lost logical strategy, our instrumental intelligence. This is the capacity to reason clearly, to anticipate consequences, and to see the second and third order effects of our actions. Without it, we are impulsive children playing with fire. And third, most tragically, we have lost humane thinking, our moral and spiritual intelligence. This is the ability to value persons as sacred, never as inputs, problems, or collateral. When these three pillars crumble, the roof of civilization caves in. We are left in a world that prioritizes fleeting material gains over eternal human souls. So, what does this hollow society look like in practice? It is not abstract. It is visceral. It touches your news feed, your wallet, and your spirit. We are living through what the World Health Organization calls an infodemic, an overload of information, both true and false, that produces confusion and risk-taking behavior. When critical thinking weakens, truth loses its social power. We enter a reality where the loudest narrative wins, not the truest one. We see people sharing falsehoods not just out of malice, but from lazy thinking, a failure to pause and reflect. The result? A society that cannot agree on what is real and therefore cannot agree on what is right. We drift into tribal truth, where belonging to a group becomes more important than accuracy. But the cost is higher than just confusion. When we lose humane thinking, we begin to treat humans as disposable. We enter a state of systemic cannibalism. Consider the device in your pocket. We live in a world where competition over high-value minerals has fueled violence and exploitation in places like the Democratic Republic of Congo. We extract resources where the value is calculated in stock prices, but the cost is paid in human lives, invisible, unrecorded, and ignored. This is the spiritual diagnosis. When a culture crowns possessions, it eventually treats people as possessions. We have built mansions that serve as tombs for the living spirit. Finally, look at the toll on our own spirits. We have been sold a lie that accumulation brings peace. But as a strategist, I must tell you, materialism is a failed survival strategy. Research shows that a materialistic orientation is associated with lower personal well-being. We are feeding a hungry ghost, an appetite that can never be satisfied. When having outruns being, our inner life shrinks. We see a rise in anxiety and depression. which are often spiritual signals that the soul is starving in a house full of gold. We have created a machine that knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. A society without these thinkers descends into chaos, misinformation, and dehumanization. But why? How did we get here? Was this an accident? Or was it a design? In our next session, we will go deeper. We will peel back the layers of history to examine the architecture of the automaton. We will look at how our systems of education, welfare, and identity were engineered to produce the very sleepwalking state we are now trying to escape. The shadow is deep, my friends, but the first step to clearing it is to name it.